Students, it's Mr. House. I'm going to go through the Zune logo in this tutorial, so let's get started. Here it is. You'll notice that some of the pictures in this tutorial look a little different than they will in yours because you have the latest version of Illustrator, but it should all work just fine. So let's go to Illustrator, and I'm going to go to File, New. And it says we want to make a file that is 600 by 600 pixels. So I go over here to pixels and choose 600 by 600. And we can even name it up here. Zune. There we go. Hit OK. Alright. Right now I want you to make sure your essentials, look for this button and reset essentials. That gives us our layers and other toolbars that we need to get to. Okay. Also tells you to take a look at View Smart Guides. You want to make sure Smart Guides are checked. So they are checked right now. If you click on this, you'll notice they become unchecked. So we're going to click on it again. You want them checked. Let's go to the pen tool, and in the instructions you'll notice we just click once, come over here, click again, come down here and get that green guide and click. At this point, go to the selection tool and make sure you have this whole thing selected. There we are. And we don't want to fill, so you'll notice here is the fill color. We're going to change this to none. You can also find it up here. Right? We want it on none. So we have this selected. Next, we'll go to Object, Transform, Reflect. Whoops, I went to Shear. Let's cancel that. Object, Transform, Reflect. And I can move this window out of the way, and if we choose Preview, you'll see that it's reflecting it the way we want to, and you'll want to press Copy. And so a copy of that reflected comes up, and if I carefully hover right over one of the paths, I can click and drag it to the right and hold the Shift key while you're doing that, and that way it stays straight up and down. When I get to here, you'll notice there's an intersect that comes up. That's what you want. Let go of the mouse key and you're in business. Next, you'll need to click and drag over all of this and select it, and then I want you to hover around. Notice it says path there. That means I can move this, but we're going to hold the Option key and a double arrow comes up. You'll notice that double arrow won't appear until you're right on the path. I'm going to click and drag down and hold the Shift key so that it doesn't move around, keeps it straight up and down, and once again we'll hit intersect. Let go of the mouse key. Alright. Now, right now you'll notice that my lines are pretty straight here. They may not be exactly perfect. Let's take a look. Well, they look pretty darn good, don't they? If yours do not, you might redo the previous steps or go to the Direct Select tool and just click on this one line here and watch what happens. I hit delete, click on this one, hit delete, and now I can go to the pen tool and click on this anchor and then click on this one. At this point I'm going to hold the the command key and click, and that deselects. I can go back to the Direct Select tool, click once on this one, delete, once on this one, press delete, go back to the pen tool, click on this anchor and then on this anchor. Hold the command key, deselect. Now I know these lines are perfectly straight. Alright, next. With this object deselected, you'll start drawing in the next lines. I believe there's one from here to here, and look what happened. That's because I left something selected. So I'm going to press Command Z and undo, and press the Command key, deselect. I'm back on the pen tool, and we'll try this again. I click once, and click again. Now, it keeps happening. So sometimes Illustrator gets picky the way you do things. So I'm just going to reverse the direction. So I will go here, click once, and here, click again. So when in doubt, try it a different way. There I hit Command click to deselect. We're going to try this over here. Now right away I see this lights up. I think I might try it from here first. Let's see what happens. I click once, click again, I've made my line. Perfect. Hold the Command key, click to deselect, and lastly there's this vertical line. There we are, hold the Command key, deselect. The next step seems to confuse a lot of people, and all you're trying to accomplish is to take this object that you've made and make it look more like the one in the tutorial. So let's click over there, and we've gone through here, and we are now at this step. And you'll see with the whole thing selected, you're to click and drag and squish it up. That way, this longer shape becomes more squished like this one. Okay, that's what we're trying to accomplish. So I have the whole thing selected. I click and drag over all of it, and then squish it from underneath, and see how it just shrinks up a bit? There we go. Once I do that, I want to size this up so that it fits the entire page. So while I grab from a corner, I'm holding the Shift key to constrain proportions. That keeps the shape looking the way I intend it to. I'm going to move this around so it stays right in the center. Don't make it so big it goes to the edges, just large like this. The next step has you change the stroke to 25. Let's see what happens. It gets nice and thick like that. You know, I'm going to bump it up even more. Again, you're looking to get to something that looks like it does in the tutorial. I think that's going to be about good. We'll stick with 40. Now I go to the stroke window, and here I can go up to window, bring up stroke, and right away I just see the line weight 40. But over here I click on show options, and then you'll see something similar to the tutorial where you can set the cap style. I'll click this, and the corner style, and click this, and look at that, it's nice and round the way it looks in the tutorial. Next I go to Object, Expand, and what this does is it expands. See, these lines in here are just showing what the stroke is. We're going to fill it up so it's the entire shape. Click OK, and you'll notice that's what happens. At this point, the tutorial tells you to go to Pathfinder and click on this one, Unite. Let's see what happens. And good, that's what it should look like. If your shape fills completely, all of this turns black, you're going to want to choose this one, Merge. Let's try it this way, see what happens. Merge, and the same thing happens. Alright, so Merge or Unite should do the trick. Alright, next, I have my fill selected over here, and I'm going to click on this gradient, and let's see what happens. Now right away you'll notice that a gradient has filled in between here. And that will happen to some of you, not all of you. So here's a way to fix it. Part of that is because I chose Merge. And I'm going to go to the Direct Select tool and click on this, press delete, press delete, press delete. Remember, this is with the white arrow direct select tool. Now we're back in business. Okay, let's select the entire object. Remember, nothing works unless you select the object. So notice that my gradient is in the fill. If your gradient is in the stroke, it's not going to work. The stroke should be empty, the fill with gradient. Now I can edit the gradient over here. And you'll notice your window is right in here. All I have to do is double click on a color, and if it comes up gray like this, set it to RGB. And now I can choose something like that orange color in the tutorial. That's the first color. I'll double click on the next one, and again I have to set it to RGB, and now I'm going to look for that magenta, something like that. And we're almost there. It looks pretty good, except I'm going to adjust the way the gradient is angled. So I click on the gradient tool, and I click and drag from here to get that orange from the bottom left to pink on the top right. And there is the Zune logo. Be sure to save your Illustrator file. Just hit Command S, and then to put it on Wix, File, Save for Web. Okay? Thank you for learning.